didn't even know HBCUs had women's soccer. I was also in denial about being gay.
We love that. We love
it. It was running the fitness test. I'd be like, why did I choose this?
Literally, out of all sports, I chose the one you have to run in.
I love my team so much, bro. Like, I was recruited as a center back, but my coach left and we got a new coach. This girl had me up top, knowing I didn't know what I was doing. The most black girls I've ever had on my team is 3.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Echoes of the Yard. My name is Kendyl Terrell, a soccer player at Jackson State University, and this podcast is all source HBCU, the good, the bad, and some things you've never heard of. We're here to talk about it all. So for the 4th episode, I am joined with one of my close friends, Adrianna Pratt, a soccer player at Grambling State University. And even though, we're supposed to be enemies, we become friends.
Don't get started, bro.
We've gotten so much to talk about your experience and everything. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Let everybody know. Let's see. Start from the beginning.
Okay, so I guess a little bit about my background and how I got to Grambling, or not how, but just starting with my college career in general. So, hi everybody. My name is Adrianna Pratt. I am an upcoming 3rd semester senior at Grambling State University. I am a center back defender, and I've spent 2 years at Grambling. But before there, I first committed to the University of Missouri, Kansas City. I was actually a forward there. So I don't even think you knew that, but I was literally a forward, bro.
I didn't.
Bro, worst nightmare of my life.
No, that's actually
I was
shocking.
recruited as a center back, but my coach left and we got a new coach. And this girl had me up top, knowing I didn't know what I was doing. And so anyway, I did my first 2 years there, studying mechanical engineering, and then now at Grambling, I study engineering technology and then math and physics. And yeah, that's pretty much my life. Soccer and school.
Okay, so first of all, hold on. So before we get into all the accolades at the level we are now, how and why did you start playing soccer? What is your why, you think?
Okay. Well, honestly, it wasn't really up to me. My parents put me in soccer at the age of 3 or 4, and I just stuck with it ever since. In Little League, I can remember, the anger I used to feel, even back at, 4 or 5 years old, bro. Because, one thing about me, if I do something, I'm going to commit to it, and I'm going to try to do my best at whatever that thing is. So I'm okay, the objective is get the ball into the goal. Boom. Wasn't really a forward mentality, but I was okay, I need to protect the goal. So I'm going to take that upon myself to do that. And this girl's on my team picking flowers in the middle of the field, not paying attention. I'm oh my God. And the thing too,
please get it together.
From the age of 4 to 8, I played on the same recreational soccer team, and the girls were the coach's daughters. And I was just it's not going to get any better. But I was just...
And we all know how that goes.
Literally. Playing against co-ed, playing against boys. And then eventually some coaches sought out my parents, and they're she needs to do club soccer. Her skill level, if you want her to continue to advance and she really enjoys it, you need to switch her over to competitive. And my parents are do you really like it? Because my parents are also the type of people who, they made me and my siblings do every sport in the book. I did swim, track,
same girl,
basketball, volleyball, everything.
Yes.
And so
you're gonna find a way to college.
That's all a way to pay for this. So they asked me, and they're hey, we're about to spend this money on you. Do you really how much do you like soccer? And I just fell in love with it, honestly. It was just natural, literally ever since 4 or 5 years old. And transitioned to club, and then the rest is kind of history with the recruitment process, and then eventually now college. So,
I definitely can relate to that. 3, 4 years old is when I entered it, you said, really didn't have a choice, but then it's kind of I made it my choice. You know what I'm saying? So as I was going through the motions and going through the motions of other sports and everything, it's nothing tugged on my heart like soccer did. Nothing gave me that no, this is for you, girl. You need to stay here.
Literally, it was between volleyball and soccer for me. My parents were listen, we are not paying for 2 club sports. So my ninth grade year, at the end of my ninth grade year, I had to choose, and they're like, pick which sport you want to do in college. And I was like, volleyball. I literally just finished playing volleyball last night. Like, I love volleyball so
Oh,
much, but it's just
loved it.
soccer. I don't know what it was. Like, and honestly, sometimes I be regretting it. Running the
Yes.
fitness test, I'd be like, why did I choose this? But at the end of the day, like,
Literally, out of all sports, I chose the one you have to run in.
but at the end of the day, like, it's just something that I have a deep love and passion for, and that literally makes me happy. Like, I love playing volleyball, but it doesn't make me happy. Playing soccer, ups and downs, it's gonna make me happy regardless. So
Yeah, like through the good and the bad, I know like every time like I will turn to soccer, like there's some good like at the end
for
of the
sure.
tunnel for soccer for me. Like volleyball was just kind of like okay, like here and there, but that soccer was like nah, like just to wreck a girl, like oh, I don't know.
Yo, please.
It just does something to
No,
me, you know?
literally. I be locked
So when
in.
did you realize? Yes, literally. When did you realize you wanted to pursue it in college? Like, when did you realize like you were at that stage you were good enough to play in college?
Honestly, probably that year that they made me decide. That next year,
Mm.
I was like, okay, well, I said that I'm gonna do this, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it. And a lot of coaches, like, I don't know. I feel like as you are like kind of progressing, you start to kind of notice the difference between like politics and club soccer and who's good enough, who's not. And so even just that like situation like motivated me, and I don't know, like I feel like freshman sophomore year of high school is when I was like, hey, this is something that I'm gonna do. And I just wanted to play D1 soccer because I used to have a dream of like my
Yeah.
middle school dream was playing on the US women's national team. Obviously, that's not gonna
Okay, girl,
happen.
period.
But I was like, okay, boom, here are the steps to get there. Play D1, get recruited, etc. So it was like, shoot for the stars.
Yep. Yeah, it's like the steps. The
Literally.
steps.
So yeah, that's
Okay, so did you ever go through a phase where it was like you noticed that you were the only black girl or there was maybe two or three? Like did you ever go through that? It's just like, okay, like
what's going
why
where
am
everybody
I
else.
you know, when how was that phase for
Oh
you?
my
Yeah,
goodness.
where everybody is at?
Literally my entire soccer career. Like up until college. The most black girls I've ever had on my team is three. Until I got to Grambling. But up until my sophomore year of college, it was three. And I literally kept count. Like every single year. Up until my freshman year, it was always me. But then my sophomore year of high school, it was three. And I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, kind of deep. Like, what's going on?
Hold on. It's a party. It's a
Right.
party.
And then that got taken away. And then my senior year and junior senior year, it was 1 to 2.
Thank you. Thank you.
You gotta tune in, y'all.
Yeah, this is too much.
Literally.
I'm glad like we can like kind of laugh at it now, but like back then I was like, oh
Stress.
my gosh, like I can't breathe. Yes, like it's like I felt like I was drowning sometimes and like I was exhausted always trying to walk around on eggshells and having to act a certain way, put on a certain face for like them. And I'm just like, what the heck? It's like every time I came home I was like like I
Yes.
literally just had to like take a big breath in and was like, this cannot be the only way. I was like, there's just no way. Like this isn't it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know, just coming to my HBCU girl, it was a whole game changer for me. But before we get into that, okay, tell me about your high school years, young adult years, and if you're comfortable, can you share a little bit about you coming out if it's up to you though.
High school years in regards to soccer or just in general, like life?
General, just life.
My high school years, honestly, I'm one of the few people I know who actually loved high school. Like, I
Oh, I
okay,
loved
yeah.
it.
Like
I
I talked to some
loved
people and
it.
they're like, I would never go back. Like I hated it.
Never go
And I
back.
mean, yeah, to each his own. Like you kind of look back at certain friendships and relationships, and yeah, they probably didn't treat you the best. But like at that point in your life, I was having the time of my life. Like going to school, seeing my
The
friends
time.
5 days a week. Like I loved it. Even like so, I went to a college prep school, so like it was just like if you go to that school, you know you're going to college and you're going to be somebody. Like
Yeah.
everybody that I know from my class, majority is like doing pretty well in life. So it was just kind of set up in that way. But also, my high school is actually the first high school in Kansas City that Black people could go to. So now it turned in, yeah. So it turned
Wow.
into a college preparatory school, and you had to test to get in, but it also had that history behind it. So like going there, you just understood how, I don't know, just like thankful,
Like
yeah, like
important.
important it is to be there and to get a good education, and how far that we've come. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
desegregated now, but like still it was majority
Right.
Black. And so literally just living that Black excellence every single day and trying to live up to something and knowing the legacy that it had, it was very inspiring. And
Yeah.
to this day, like, is kind of made me who I am. While that was happening,
I love that.
I was also in denial about being gay. It was like best of my
We
life,
love that.
playing
We
all
love
the
it.
sports, playing club soccer, but a very like internal conflict because I was raised Baptist Christian. Um, like I go to a Baptist church, but like Christian, so Southern Baptist at that.
Yeah.
So like I just honestly I remember the first time I even heard the word gay. I'll never forget this day in my life. I was in fourth grade, and being the little nerd that I am, me and my friends after school, we had a dictionary. And we're flipping through the dictionary, just like learning new words, et cetera, et cetera. And so we found the word gay. In the dictionary, the word gay means happy. And so I get in the car. I'm like, okay, I got my little fun fact for the day. I get in the car. My mom picks me up from school. And I'm like, Mom, guess what? Like, I learned a new word today. And she's like, what? And I'm like, gay. And I'm like, guess what it means? Flip the switch. Like, basically, moral of the story, being gay is wrong. Was mad that I even found that word in the book. Like, don't be gay because that's wrong. Like, it's ungodly, et cetera, et cetera. So I was
Right.
like, okay. Like, literally the next day, I had a best friend. We had been gone to pre-K through up to that point together. And I was like, we hug every day. Like, we're excited to see each other. And my mom kind of explained to me, like, being gay is like girl and girl or like boy and boy, etc. So when she went to hug me that day, I was kind of like, mm-mm. Like,
Girl,
I'm
back
gay.
up.
I'm like, nope, I'm not being associated. We cannot do that.
My mama said, like,
No. And so that like mentality of gay being wrong carried into my high school years, and just like, yeah, all of my high school years, honestly. So even though I had tendencies that I look back and are like, yeah, girl, that was definitely questionable. You probably should have known before. I was like, no, I'm not gay. So that carried on until my freshman year of college. And I kind of always told myself that, like, or I guess people had told me as well, college is just like when you learn who you truly are, and it's like you're the time of your life you get to
everything.
branch out and just like explore, etc. with like studies, friends, everything. And so my freshman year of college, I
Yeah.
came a little bit more comfortable, and internally I was like, I'm bisexual. Like, yeah, I like girls, but I also like boys. And I was still talking to boys at
Yeah.
that point. The year before that, I had a boyfriend, so I was really selling this to everybody. Like, I was straight for sure.
You was the best,
I
like
was
Grammy
invested.
Award winner.
Only my close friends had ever knew about the relationships and interactions I had with girls. And so freshman year of college, went through that whole year internally being like, yeah, I'm bisexual. Only my close friends know. Didn't come out to my team, any of that. The year after my freshman summer is actually when I met my girlfriend of now. And what's funny is we thought we were about to be besties. Like, she went to a school also in Missouri. So I went to school in Missouri as well. Our colleges were 3 hours away from each other, but she's also from KC, and we had mutual friends that we didn't even know about. And so my girlfriend is she's about to go to medical school, actually, literally this coming week.
Wow.
So she was pretty,
wow, that is big.
I know, I'm so proud of her, my little baby. But
I love that.
So she majored in chemistry, and then so chemistry majors, depending on your college, you'll have to take math. And so me being an engineering student, I obviously had to take math. So we were in calculus too at the same time, different colleges, but we had met honestly when we were 16 at a birthday party and exchanged social medias back then. didn't even really like know about it, but like I would see her stuff. I knew she was pretty, etc. But she had like a boyfriend, so I wasn't really worried about her. Like, and I was in denial. But come back to freshman summer,
Right.
we're both like ranting on our social media how bad calculus 2 is, stress, etc. So we started texting about that and like studying together and trying to help each other out. And then I was like, oh, like we should hang out this summer. Like you're really cool. And so we started hanging out. Literally invited her out with me and my friends. And internally, I just have a really bad habit of like having friends or like, okay, I guess I don't have a bad habit. I'll say this. Anybody that I've ever been with has always started as my friend. So I was like, I'm not gonna do this. Like, yes, she's really pretty. We will be really good together, but like I don't know if she's gay. Like I don't she's the most straight passing person I know. So I was like, I'm not even about to test the waters and make myself look goofy out here. Like
Right.
we could be friends, that's cool. She's cool as a friend. And little did she know, like little did I know, she secretly liked me too. So throughout that summer, we eventually a month later after like hanging out as friends, we started like cuddling and like all that stuff. But anyway, the day that I came out, what's today? Okay, it'll be like basically 3 weeks from. It'll be 3 years in 3 weeks from like today.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is it's honestly crazy to think about because I'm like, dang, has it been that long? But
Time
I'm
is flown.
saying, like we've also almost been together 3 years in August. And what happened was she had invited me over to house sit because she was house sitting for her sister, and was I was 18 at that point. Yeah, I was 18 3 years ago. And so, like, you still tell your parents everything. My parents are just the type of parents, whenever you walk out the door, they're going to ask you where you're going and where you're going to be back. Like, that's just, they're boomers. That's just how they
Yeah.
are. And so I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
like, I'm about to go hang out with Marissa for the weekend. We're house sitting for her sister. And my mom, she always makes these, like, little sly comments, like, just little dabs here and there. And at that point, I had just kind of been fed up with it. So she was like, I hope y'all not going together. We're in the kitchen at this point. Like, girl, I'm trying to tell you that I'm leaving for the weekend, and now you're trying to bash gay people. Like, and so I was like, Mom, you do know I'm gay, right? And then yeah, the cat was at I literally not even no thoughts, just out my mouth. Like I still to this day, like I was just so fed up that I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna say it. But it didn't really mentally register that I was saying what I was saying. So told my mom that she she basically like just jaw drops. I guess that I actually said it at this point. And thankfully I thank God that my brother was home because I had came out to my brother and my sister before my parents because they're
Oh yeah,
they just knew. Like my brother, actually he's the first person that actually came out to my family just because I knew he was gonna be like welcoming with open arms. He's like he's the best person I know. So I told him first, and then I told my sister,
I love
and then
that.
I told my parents. And so that came out of my mouth. My mom starts talking. My dad overhears it, like the conversation. So he comes in the kitchen, and it turns into a 2-hour lecture. My brother comes upstairs, and he's basically my only defense. And so I'm just in the kitchen crying, trying to basically just crying, honestly, while they're talking to me and are telling me how ashamed and disappointed they are at me. And yeah, then I left. So yeah, that was my girlfriend.
Oh, and then I left.
And I did not talk to them for the whole weekend. And they were like blowing up my phone, like, we love you so much. Like, obviously, I know y'all love me to a certain extent, but why can't you just love me for me being me, you know?
All of me.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's really the story. Yeah.
Well, so what led you to Grambling? And like, did you always want to go to an HBCU? Like, how was that? I know you've done a lot for Grambling, so let's get into that. So first, what led you there?
So what led me there? It's honestly funny because now that I think about it, like back in high school, I always used to tell my friends, yeah, I'm gonna do 2 years at a PWI, then I'm gonna go to a HBCU. Because like a lot of my high school friends went to HBCUs. And I'm like, dang, like I would see their stories and just like hearing about the experiences that they were having. And I would be like, dang, like I really don't get to have or share that same experience because I am where I am. And so it's something that I said literally 2 years before I actually did what I did. But so basically got into the portal after my sophomore year, sophomore spring. So it was like April ish. And so I started talking to a bunch of different schools. And I'm not going to lie, like, I didn't even know HBCUs had women's soccer before going to Grambling or like before being in the portal. So Grambling was actually the first person to reach out to me in the portal, like literally within 12 hours. First ping I got in my email. And then I was like, oh, like, wait a minute. This is an HBCU and they have soccer and they're D1. Because in the first round of my recruitment process, no,
Like, why not?
literally, in the first round of my recruitment process, no one, like none of the coaches I had ever asked if I wanted to go to HBCU really or anything like that. So it was just, it really wasn't on my radar at all, honestly. I was honestly just like, hey, what is the best program that's going to do the best for me engineering wise, but then also pay for my schooling. So that's the route that I went, and it kind of happened pretty
Yeah.
quick. So I wasn't really too focused on any cultural aspects or anything like that. But honestly, after being three of like three black girls of 33, it was just like on my last team, I was like, okay, this is kind of draining. Like, not only am I the only black girl in
Yeah.
all of my engineering classes, literally all day long, then I come to practice and I'm one of three, but then the other two girls, they're also mixed. So they have a white parent. Like, I don't, everybody on the team basically had a white parent besides me. So I was like, this is kind of great. It was just, it took me honestly a long time to warm up to my team just because of my whole life of playing club soccer and not really feeling like I could be who I am. So when I got into the portal and Grambling reached out to me, then I started looking into HBCUs. And then, honestly, my coach is a salesman and he sold me the dream. And yeah, I was just like, honestly, this will be a good change for me.
Definitely sounds like
Yeah,
your coach.
no, literally. That man needed to change careers.
Salesman.
So he sold me the dream, and it was something that I really wanted, and like changing that aspect just because of feeling isolated for literally my whole life up until that point in regards to soccer. So I was like, this is the change that I want to make, and yeah, that's what led me to Grambling. So, and the success they had.
I love that. So, okay. Everybody, let me let you in on a little secret. She might be very humble in her skills or whatever. And let me give you some context. I'm a center forward. She's a center back. And we literally, every time we play against each other, it's us. We're right there. We're talking the whole game. We're playing against each other the whole game. We're complaining the whole game. Like, it's the whole shebang. And she got preseason Defensive Player of the Year for 2023. She also got Defensive Player of the Week. She was first team. Like, my girl is that. Like, don't let her fool you with the innocent. Like, no, she's that. She's that. So just like off your soccer experience, like, how would you rate your experience at Grambling as an athlete?
Compared to my last school or overall?
Okay. Overall, like, if just like trainers, practices, time management, like just as an athlete overall at Grambling, like
I would say probably 7 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's okay.
HBCU.
Want to give us a little context?
I just, I love my HBCU, but there's some things I do appreciate PWIs for. One of them is time management and communication. Like, don't get me started on the trainers. We have 3 trainers for all of the sports at Grambling. Soccer is in the same season as football. I feel like I don't even need to say much more. Like, 3 trainers.
Nope.
3 trainers in the same season as football. We would have some practices where we would not even have water. I kid you not. Like, no cooler, no nothing. Yeah. We go into the training room trying to get tape. All the football players get to go before us, even though we have practice sooner than they do. Like, why are y'all here an hour and a half? Don't get me started. But it's just, that aspect is really, and the thing is, like, I understand to a certain point, but I also feel like you can only tolerate so much. Like, if you truly want to recruit good talent and keep that talent and continue to recruit good talent, like you have to treat your athletes a certain way. And HBCUs, I'm not even gonna generalize. Grambling has not had the best track record with that. I have seen improvements. Like I do talk to a lot of administrators and they do ask for our feedback on things that can improve. And so we're like continuously voicing it. But I also know like there is a funding aspect to it, or so they say. Because football got a new locker room. But I feel like that.
Oh, and we don't have one at all. We don't have
No,
one at
at
all. So
all. They at least gave us a little
at
space.
all.
That is crazy.
We don't have bathrooms. We don't even have bathrooms.
Oh
So
yeah,
like,
when we came to play y'all, there was no
yeah,
bathroom.
no lights.
The light.
Yeah.
Our
So
field is right next to softball. I'm like, if y'all don't just roll these lights, it's literally right there.
if you just
Like, bro, and they just built like
and it forces us to play in like 100-degree heat, and
literally
I'm just
like
like,
a health hazard. Literally playing in the heat of the day, doing the most running out of all the sports on campus. Okay, priorities.
literally, it's literally hectic. Like, oh, okay. So to add on to that, do you think playing at an HBCU has made like college sports easier or harder for you?
Like in terms of like skill level or like school college sports balance.
Okay, let's start with like skill level, because like I love to dabble in the skill level, because like I've been to 3 different colleges including my HBCU, so like I definitely have played in like a bit of every level. So like just like the level of play for you, like how is that?
I think it's honestly the same. I low key wish my last team would play us. And what's funny is my coach is so petty, bro. This man literally emailed my old coach asking to play them. Don't get me started. He is insane. But the play is a little bit different. I think the SWAC in general, like our conference, is way more physical than I've ever experienced, but also don't really mind that. Yeah.
100%.
So that
Me
aspect, I
neither.
don't really. Now the refs, if they were a little bit better, yeah. But the physicality, like it's a physical sport.
It's the fact that we literally call them SWAC refs. If they're bad, they're called SWAC refs. Oh, they're like SWAC refs. Like,
Dude,
we literally use that even in my club.
it's insane.
We're like,
I'm
oh, they're
like,
SWAC
bro,
refs.
what? I'll never ever understand what goes on.
Please don't get me
Like,
started.
ever.
Imagine being 6'2".
Girl.
6'2", no fouls called for you at
I'm
all.
so sorry because I'm 5'9" and they don't ever call anything for me. So I'm already knowing. Like, I'm so sorry. But
Oh my
skill
gosh.
level
It's like literally.
is horrible. It's been good. Like, I think honestly, my coach now emphasizes skills, like technical skills of each player more than my last university coach did. So like it's honestly
Yeah.
forced me to kind of improve in that area, even though I'm not an attacking player anymore. I think that the side of me attacking, like doing 1v1 drills and like 2v3 stuff like that, it has actually improved since I've been in Grambling, which is kind of nice because it's something that I never really focused on before, honestly. Like I said, I was recruited as a center back as a freshman, got to my freshman year of college, and now I'm a forward. And so I feel like if I had had that background a little bit sooner, I might have done better at that position at that time. But to each his own. So.
Yeah, that's what I could definitely give like praise to my coach at Jackson State. Like Coach Ted has literally, he does not let me be the mediocrity like that other coaches have let me. Like, yes, my average is majority better than majority players, but he was like, no, like that's not good enough. Like I need you to be up here. He like reminds me every day, like coaches have let you get away with like being that average 70%, 60% player, but I need you to be the best. Like I need you to come in here and want to be the best, get everything you out. Like your last game, you should have gave everything into this program. And like, I think that's what I appreciate about it so much. Like he will literally kill you in the sense of like drain all your energy. If you have some left, you're going again. Like, and I just truly appreciate that. I know a lot of girls be like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to do that. But it's like, wow, no, like you genuinely want me to be that top dog. So it's just kind of like, it's amazing to me because I wasn't really getting recognized at my majority white schools, and I was leading in every stat.
Really.
And then I come here and it's like, wow, no, like people know
Yeah.
who I am. Like, oh, that's the girl at Jackson with the
Mm-hmm.
tattoos. Like no, like people like like
The
know who I am. So it's
tattoos.
just kind of like, wow, like it's definitely it's definitely like a whole bang. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, like, and it's just like you finally get the, it's like a hit or miss with the recognition though. Like SWAC awards is kind of crazy. That's why I was so shocked about me getting offensive player of the year this year. I was just like, you sure? Because like last year y'all screwed me.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's definitely 50-50. But like, nah, I definitely appreciate my HBCU in that sense. Like, there's no excuse now. Like, it's not politics. It's not based
Mm-hmm.
off that I'm not the right color. It's like you're either good or you're
Yeah.
not. So like, that's what you're
Our
here
coach.
for. So do you think it was like more enjoyable?
Enjoyable, yeah, and not even enjoyable in that aspect, but also just my team. Like literally, my
Yes.
whole soccer experience has changed solely because of my team. Like I love my team so much, bro. Like they and I literally told them this. Like on our last game, I'm like, y'all literally have saved my life, and like it's crazy to say that because so back to my sophomore year. I ended up getting hurt in preseason. Literally the last day of preseason, tore my meniscus. We had a game against KU
Dang.
that next day. So obviously didn't play. So it was a lot of things that went on, like trainer wise, MRI wise, like the timeline of things. I didn't get an MRI. They didn't really know what was wrong. Like 3-4 weeks later. So then I was doing PT, but we weren't really targeting the right thing. So it was basically useless. Then that
Yeah.
like basically
Yeah.
pushed back my recovery time. So, long story short,
Yeah.
I didn't end up fully recovering and not even really fully recovering, but being able to play again to some extent until like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks before the season was like done. Like, we didn't make it to conference, like the conference championship, like none of that. Our season's done. So, walked in, my coach is like, we don't really see you coming back next year because you didn't improve. And I'm scratching my head like, you walk past me every day on the sidelines doing PT. Like, you know that I tore my meniscus. You know what I've been going through and been recovering from. And they're like, oh, well, but your numbers in the weight room aren't really good. Girl, you try to go squat 260 on a freaking torn meniscus and let me know.
Torn meniscus. Yes.
But at that point, I was just like, listen, you've basically proven to me that you don't value me here and you don't want to see me here. So why would I stay here? But she
Yeah.
essentially told
Yeah.
me that, like, oh, you're so involved around campus and we love having you around that you can keep your tuition, but you can be a manager. So after that fall season was over, I was actually a manager for
Mm.
my team that spring. And watching my teammates play the sport that I love and basically being told, hey, you're not good enough, but you can be the manager, like that just, it was literally like somebody stabbed me in the chest. Like I hated watching their practices.
Yeah. The confidence was
Yes,
shot.
hated watching their practices every single day. Still had to block out that time. It's not even like I could study more. Like, still had to block out that time to go to practice, to sit there, to watch. And
Yeah.
so, in that aspect, coming from like, you're not good enough to play with us, to a team, because like I even told my team how she did me. Like, it was just, like I confided in them, and I guess you can't really expect people to fight your battles for you, but I feel like if somebody on my team was treated that way, like I want them to at least say something or stick up for me and to some extent. So coming from that environment to the new environment where literally I love my team, everybody supports everybody, everybody is my best
Yes.
friend. Like we hang out outside of soccer and just the bond that we have even playing, like I've never experienced it in my entire life. So like that's why I'm like, y'all literally saved my life because I was at the point where I literally played a sport that I loved my whole life, got my confidence shocked, and I never wanted to touch a soccer ball again. So like I don't know. It really has changed my outlook on a lot of things, and I really appreciate them for that.
Nah, and I literally love that because like um my experience at Jackson State, like I think, don't get me wrong, like every school has their drama. You know, like we have our drama or whatever, but like this is the first place like I felt like I didn't have to switch identities. Like I didn't have to act like someone I wasn't.
Bro,
It was like my true self, you either like me or you didn't. Like, it wasn't because of my
Mm-hmm.
skin color. It was because like we either meshed or we didn't. And like, I think that was such a turning point for me. And like, don't get me wrong, it was hard. Like, I'm the type of person, I grew up like my mom's a widowed
Mm-hmm.
parent of four. So like when we lost my dad before I went into college, like it was hard. It was hard for me to open up to people, trust people with that, because it's like I got somebody taken away I couldn't say
Yeah.
goodbye to. So it was just kind of like I always kept people at like face
Mm-hmm.
value and a distance. So like it was hard. Like I pushed people away. I was going through my own grieving process, but it was just like it's like my first year there, they were just breaking my wall down. I just
Mm-hmm.
kept pushing. And this past year, like I genuinely had to open my eyes and see that no, like these people are here to
Yeah.
care about you. These people are here to like express that there is change in people. They're like, people can get second chances. People can do this. And like, we don't see you as a bad person. We see you as our friend, or as our teammate, as one of our leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like, what the heck? It was like a 360
Yeah.
for me. So I think going into an unknown territory just kind of like scared me a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. So it was just like, I don't know. I might look so tough and mean compared to outside people, but like on the inside, like I'm a teddy bear. Like I'm sensitive. I have feelings. Like it's just how it is. So like coming to an HBCU and then like showing my true
Yeah.
colors and like bringing who I am really out. I'm like, wait, I've been trying to hide this. Like,
No,
why y'all trying to bring this
literally
out of
though.
me? And but even yeah, and even with your team though, like I've become friends with Alyssa,
Mm-hmm.
Madison, your goalkeeper. Like it was just kind of crazy because you connect to some like certain types of
Yes.
people. So it's just like it's really
Literally, like
nice.
on that connecting point, like just it's crazy how fast you can connect with somebody when you don't have to hide who you are. Like I felt so isolated on my last team just because of being one of the only black girls and feeling like I couldn't necessarily be who I was. Not even because like they hounded me or like isolated me in general. It was just like a self mentality. But simply the race barrier being broken down in Grambling, walking to my first practice and being like, we all here to play soccer? Like, whoa, what's going on? And how easy
Wait, are you here
how easy it was for me to connect just in the sense of like, oh, these are my people. Like I don't even gotta switch up my
too?
language.
Yeah.
Like it was just instant, like instant friendships, instant bonding, just like everything. So it's crazy that you mentioned that.
Yes, it's like being in a conversation and you switch from always being the person that has to make
Mm,
everybody laugh and then be the person laughing. Like
yes.
I feel as though going to my HBCU is like I was laughing at them, and instead of them laughing at me, like sometimes like I wasn't the only one making the jokes.
Mhm.
Like they were making the jokes too, and I was like, oh my
Literally, like
gosh,
y'all
like,
understand me,
what? I'm not speaking like a different language. We both speak
right?
English. Like it was just so it was actually such a like a breath of fresh air for me, like
Hmm.
100%. But our last question is presented by our sponsors, Cricket Wireless. So shout out to my people, Cricket, a proud supporter of HBCU and culture and community, all of the above. How has going to an HBCU influenced the person you are today?
Let's see. I think it's told me. I'm trying to. That's a hard question. I'm not gonna lie. It's made me appreciate relationships more, but also appreciate who I am more.
Hmm.
So, kind of like going back to being the only one, and then being not the only one. Like at a HBCU, especially at Grambling too, because it's not like a super huge HBCU. Like it's like maybe 5,000 students there. So in my classes, number one, there's still only a few black girls in engineering, but we're still all black, and our professors are black, and they look like us. So there's a different level of like
Yeah.
care and investment that they already want to put in you simply because they look like you and they've been where you've been and they want to see you do better than them. So the
Yes.
relationships that I have with my
Yeah.
professors, they literally feel like family. Like I go in there, I
Yeah.
bring them
The
food.
the authenticity and like
Yes.
genuineness.
Just like
Yeah.
just the genuine connection and relationships, I honestly feel like has changed who I am and made me appreciate who I am even more. To be like, hey, yeah, we're black. Yeah, we're surrounded by black people, but you still have something. uniquely valuable to that's not only valuable here, but that you can take back into a space where you are the only one, but you don't have to sell yourself to try to fit in. Like, just be the authentic you. So it's definitely taught me that for sure.
Oh my gosh, I genuinely love that answer because like relationships, like I didn't even think about it like that. Like, if someone would ask me the same question, I genuinely wouldn't have said like relationships. But now just sitting back and hearing you say that, like, no, like the relationships that I've made with my
Mm-hmm.
professors, that I've even made outside of my soccer team with my major
Yes.
like friends, like my psychology friends, like it's just kind of like, what the heck? Like I could call them and they can be like, hey, like what you need, like, or hey, I'll bring you a Scantron.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's literally the relationships. Like the relationships made me feel like I was safe and secure
Mm-hmm.
in a place, like in myself. So I love that. Thank you so much for joining
Of
me and sharing your
course.
experiences with us. AP, like listeners, thanks for tuning in. We've got tons more great guests, and we'll continue talking about HBCUs from all angles. So make sure you rate, review, and subscribe, and so you don't miss out on more Echoes of the Yard.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.